Lavers Hill College is a split campus between Lavers Hill and Colac. Up here on the ridge we have 43 students and about 17 staff, some of which are part-time. It's the centre of the community, it's the biggest employer and it's the main meeting point or focus point of the community. Even the local newspaper is run out of the school. So it's a small community. The town itself has about 78 permanent residents and the immediate area is probably a couple of hundred. We're quite isolated so we need to be quite self-reliant.
Circus Oz is a contemporary circus company. We were born in 1978, right here in Melbourne, but we've since toured the world across Australia, remote, regionally, for the last 40 years. We bring the joy of accessible circus across all those different communities, whether it's live music, juggling, acrobatics, aerial, and a little bit of social commentary within that. We believe in a good time for all and social justice, so we also believe in all audiences having access to a show of scale. It doesn't matter if they live in a metropolitan city, they live in a regional community or out in the remotest parts of Australia.
We had about a 3 to 4 week lead time which enabled us to get the message out to the community really well, and so we advertised widely through the local newspaper and word of mouth and posters and so forth, and so we had a lot of community support well before it even arrived.
The Lavers Hill project is part of our 3-year regional touring program here in Victoria, where we go out for a week long in each community, spend a week there, do workshops with the local kids, and then at the end of the week create a magical, amazing community performance where the kids from the local school perform as part of that. And then the performers from within the ensemble finish off the show with the inclusion of the kids.
We talk a lot with the community before we come about how that interaction should be, whether it needs to be in on stage or whether it's in a basketball stadium or whether it's merely just providing workshops in the area. Most places got a basketball stadium, so we can do a project which we call Tin Top, where we go and we're resident in the community for about a week, where we do workshops with the kids and then integrate them into a show, a pro-am show of local artists and circus professional artists from Circus Oz. Well, the lead time is really important, especially when we're going into a new community. The community like Lavers Hill, we applied for that project 2 years before, and then we went through to identify which schools could actually be part of that project to deliver the Pro-Am show for the community.
Because the performers are here for a week and the students are getting to know them and they're getting to know the students, and because the program goes for a week, the students are actually connecting with each other on a deeper level than perhaps normal, particularly across year levels. But certainly it's the relationship building between the performers and the students. A fly-in, fly-out, if you like, type has an impact, but this was about developing relationships. It was also about students seeing adults modelling discipline, endeavour, all those traditional values that we try and instil in young people.
First and foremost and utterly is listening to the local community. It's talking to them, it's working out what works for them, it's working out what assistance they need. It's really listening and working out how to best engage with the community and what they're looking for. Then adapting is an absolute key component. It's being flexible, it's understanding that the resources that you necessarily have in a metropolitan city, they may not have, whether that's people, whether that's equipment, whether that's skilled, but the will is there if you actually start with the communication and the conversation.
It's the interaction, having time and space to understand the community, having time and space to understand the people in the community, and discussing what would be best for them.
In the end we had 80 people, including participants, which is a lot of people for this area to come out on a wet evening. Everybody that was available dropped in at one point in time, so it was a very, very galvanising experience. And it was great for us to get people in to the school who may not be in often, and so we had lots of nice conversations and people met up. And I think that's probably one of the great advantages for small rural communities of these sorts of programs, is it provides a focus for people to come together.
And never underestimate the power of actually seeing a live performance as a 7-year-old and where that can take you into the future.